This documentary explores the life of a man who reshaped the ancient world. Julius Caesar rose from a troubled republic filled with ambition and violence, and he built a legacy that still influences how we understand power today. This film tells his story through the qualities that defined him, both the strengths that lifted him and the flaws that exposed him. We begin with the Rome he was born into, then move through his rise, his alliances, his victories, and the risks that changed history. Each chapter reveals a piece of the man behind the legend. We will explore the stages of Caesar's life in clear chapters. We start with the roots of his ambition and the courage he showed in the field. We study his strategic mind, his magnetic charisma, and the bold choices that pushed him beyond limits. We look at the enemies he faced openly and the ones hiding in shadows. We reach the Ides of March, the moment where power met betrayal. And finally, we examine the legacy that refused to die, a legacy that shaped Rome's future and influenced empires across centuries. By the end of this documentary, we will understand why Caesar mattered. We will see why his rise felt unstoppable, why his fall shook Rome, and why his story still speaks to anyone studying leadership. We will learn how ambition can build nations or break them, how charisma can unite armies, and how strategy can change the map of the world. We will also learn how fear, suspicion, and political struggle can undo even the strongest leaders. This is not only Caesar's story. It is the story of power, its promise, and its price. Chapter 1. The Man Who Changed Rome. Rome did not create Julius Caesar. It tested him, shaped him, and in many ways forced him to become the man who would eventually reshape it forever. To understand Caesar's qualities, we must begin with the world he was born into. A world full of opportunity, fear, ambition, and chaos. Rome, in the 1st century BCE, was a republic in name, but only barely. Corruption moved faster than laws. Power shifted quickly, often violently. The streets carried the tension of a society expanding faster than it could control. Armies grew loyal to generals, not the state. Politicians were divided into factions that cared more about winning than governing. Ordinary citizens, once the backbone of Rome, were now pushed aside by the wealthy and powerful. This is the Rome Caesar entered, a Rome where a bold mind could rise, but only if that mind was ready to risk everything. Caesar was born into a noble family, but not a rich one. His name carried history but not influence. This gap between name and power created pressure and hunger. Caesar learned early that nothing would be handed to him. He would craft his own path. Rome at this time was a city of contrasts. Grand temples rose above crowded slums. Senators debated the republic's future while gangs roamed the streets. Victorious generals marched in triumph, while veterans struggled to survive. Every corner of Rome showed that glory and ruin lived side by side. Caesar saw both worlds. He studied politics, watched alliances form and collapse, and understood how fragile the republic was. Instead of stepping back, he stepped forward, ready to test himself against Roman storms. His ambition was not unusual, but his mindset was. He refused to be ordinary. He believed he could shape Rome, not simply survive it. He believed leadership came from action. His confidence was sharp and grounded in a deep understanding of people. Even young, he read runes well, won loyalty, and appeared bold yet controlled. The Rome he grew up in forced him to develop traits that defined his rise. He learned calm under pressure. He learned how to speak in ways that moved people. He learned when to act and when to wait. And he learned that clarity was strength in a world full of uncertainty. As the Republic cracked, Caesar saw opportunity. While others fought for short-term wins, he thought long-term. Some debate whether he aimed to save the Republic or replace it, but the truth is simple. Caesar believed Rome could be more, and he believed he could make that happen. This opening sets the stage for everything to come. Caesar did not appear from nowhere. He rose out of tension, conflict, and ambition. A Rome ready for someone who could command soldiers, connect with citizens, and outthink rivals. He did not just live in Rome. He changed it forever. Chapter 2. Roots of Ambition. Julius Caesar did not rise from luxury. His ambition grew in a house that carried a respected name but lacked the wealth usually tied to it. He was born into the Julian family, one of Rome's oldest. They were proud of their lineage, proud of their myths, but their daily life was modest. Caesar grew up surrounded by reminders of who his ancestors were supposed to be and what his current world refused to give him. This gap between heritage and circumstance planted the quiet spark that later became his drive. As a child, Caesar watched Rome more closely than most children his age. He listened to older relatives speak about glory, duty, and public service. He heard stories about leaders who rose through courage and intelligence, not fortune. These stories shaped him. His family did not have the wealth to give him power, but they gave him a history to live up to. Inside his home, he studied reading, writing, law, and religion. He practiced speeches. He learned how powerful words could be. He also learned when silence mattered and how listening gave him an edge. Rome became his second classroom. He walked through markets, watched soldiers drilling, and stood at the edges of political gatherings. He saw how arguments in the forum shaped the republic. He saw how ambition built careers and destroyed them. He absorbed everything. The world around him was loud and restless. Caesar grew up knowing that if he wanted a future, he would have to enter that movement. His traits began forming early. He showed calm during tense moments. He knew how to appear confident without arrogance. People noticed his quiet determination and the way he carried himself. But Rome was not peaceful during his youth. Power struggles divided the city. The rise of Sulla brought fear and violence. Caesar was in danger because he refused to abandon his family ties. When Sulla demanded loyalty, Caesar resisted. He chose principle over safety. This decision forced him to flee Rome. Exile became a brutal teacher. He survived illness, harsh travel, and poverty. He saw the world beyond the capital and understood how small he still was. He also realized he could endure hardship without giving up his beliefs. When Sulla relented and let him return, Caesar came back stronger. By the time he entered early public life, his character was set. He had lived through fear and uncertainty. He had tasted privilege and struggle. These years forged courage, resilience, vision, and a steady mind. The seeds of ambition were planted early and shaped by hardship. When Caesar returned to public life, he returned as a man who understood who he needed to become. His rise was possible because these early years carved the traits that later defined him. His ambition was built slowly, piece by piece. Chapter 3: Courage in the Field. Before Caesar became a political force, he proved himself where Rome valued strength the most. He proved himself on the battlefield. His early campaigns were harsh and dangerous. Caesar entered war as a young officer with more expectations than experience, but he learned fast. His courage showed in his focus during chaos. He understood that courage was control. In Asia and Cilicia, he faced enemies who struck without warning. Many officers panicked. Caesar stayed calm. He watched, calculated, and acted at the right moment. Soldiers noticed and respected his steady presence under pressure. At the siege of Mytilene, he climbed ladders under fire, placing himself near the front. He believed a leader should share danger with his men. His actions earned him the Civic Crown, one of Rome's highest military honors. Caesar rarely spoke about the award. His silence said more than pride ever could. His discipline grew with each campaign. He marched with his men, slept where they slept, and ate what they ate. Soldiers sensed when a commander lived differently. Caesar made sure they never felt abandoned. His discipline inspired others to meet his standard. As his career grew, Caesar formed a strong bond with his soldiers. He remembered names and listened to concerns. He shared victories and losses with calm focus. The men trusted him because he trusted them. On the battlefield, this bond mattered. Soldiers fought harder when they believed their commander valued their lives. Caesar used this trust carefully. His ability to stay calm under pressure became a defining quality. When others froze, he acted with clarity. He read the battlefield quickly and understood how one timely decision could shape the outcome. In Spain, he faced ambushes, rough terrain, and shortages, yet he stayed steady. He encouraged his men with action more than words. He showed them that courage was not noise. It was consistency. Even outside battle, his courage showed. He survived storms at sea, pirate captivity, and political danger in his youth. These trials hardened him. By the time he returned to Rome, he had proven more than ambition. He proved he was capable. He faced real danger and did not break. This courage later shaped his leadership in Gaul. His soldiers remembered how he behaved when their numbers were smaller and risks were higher. They remembered a young officer who climbed walls under fire and stood with his men through fear and struggle. They followed him because they trusted him. For Caesar, courage was a foundation. It shaped how he led and how he inspired. This chapter shows why his legions stayed loyal, even in impossible situations. Caesar earned their loyalty in the dirt and noise of battle, with courage that never wavered. Chapter 4. The Mind of a Master Strategist. Julius Caesar became famous for bravery, but his strongest weapon was his mind. He understood that battles were shaped long before they began. Planning, reading opponents, and adapting faster than anyone else gave him an edge. He studied terrain, weather, supply lines, and the habits of enemy tribes. He wanted to know how they thought and what they expected him to do. Then he did the opposite. This approach helped him win, even when outnumbered. During the Gallic Wars, he faced enemies who knew the land better, but he used their weaknesses and divisions as opportunities. Caesar combined patient planning with fast execution. Some leaders planned too long, others acted without direction. Caesar did both with balance. He used scouts, maps, and quick communication to know every shift. His legions moved with speed and discipline. In the Battle of Alesia, he faced two armies at once. One was inside the fortress, another approached from outside. Instead of choosing one enemy, he built two defensive walls. It looked reckless, but it worked because it was planned with structure. His soldiers fought on both fronts and held firm, turning a hopeless position into victory. Caesar also excelled at reading opponents. He watched how rival leaders spoke, how they moved troops, and how they reacted to pressure. He predicted decisions before they were made. When he saw hesitation, he struck. When he saw anger, he used it against them. He broke enemy patterns with unexpected speed or sudden calm. Adaptation made him dangerous. He dropped plans when conditions changed. He valued results over pride. His soldiers trusted his choices because he reacted with purpose. He never changed direction without reason. Every shift was a response to new information. Beyond battles, Caesar understood psychology. He sent messages, wrote letters, and used his reputation to weaken confidence in enemy ranks. Many foes feared him before the fighting started. He also treated war like a craft. He studied every victory and setback. His writings show deep thought about movement, supply, morale, and geography. He knew that strategy required constant learning. Caesar believed knowledge shaped outcomes as much as swords and shields. This habit of study made him more than a warrior. It made him a thinker who understood the full weight of leadership. Even in politics, he used strategy. He counted allies, tracked rivalries, and chose the right moments to act. Timing shaped his rise as much as force did. Caesar turned impossible odds into victories because he refused to fight predictable battles. He shaped the field to his advantage. His mind stayed active, always searching for angles others missed. This chapter shows him as a strategist who changed Rome by thinking differently. His planning, insight, and adaptability became the foundation of his greatest achievements, and the reason his legacy still influences how leaders think today. Chapter 5. The leader soldiers followed. Caesar's rise depended on more than strategy or courage. His greatest power was his ability to inspire loyalty. His soldiers followed him through storms, deserts, and impossible distances because he earned their trust. Caesar treated his men like partners. He marched with them, shared their food, and stood beside them during hardship. Many Roman commanders kept comfort for themselves, but Caesar refused that divide. His presence among the ranks created a bond that speeches alone could not create. His soldiers believed he understood their struggles because he lived through the same conditions they faced. Caesar rewarded bravery with sincerity. When a soldier performed well, Caesar announced it publicly. He gave gifts, promotions, or simply spoke their names with respect. Roman soldiers valued recognition more than anything. Caesar understood this. His praise motivated the legions to fight harder because they knew their courage would not vanish unnoticed. He also listened to their concerns. Soldiers approached him without fear. He asked questions, remembered details, and proved that their voices mattered. This made his leadership feel human and accessible, not distant. It helped create unity, even in difficult and dangerous moments. Fairness was one of Caesar's strongest qualities. He judged men by performance instead of birth or wealth. A soldier from a poor family could rise through the ranks if he showed promise. This was rare in Rome, and earned him deep respect. Discipline remained strict, but rewards were attainable for anyone willing to earn them. Caesar understood morale. When hardship struck, he spoke directly to his soldiers. He reminded them of past victories, explained his expectations, and promised rewards for endurance. His words carried weight because he shared the same hardships and proved his commitment. When hesitation appeared, Caesar acted first. At sieges, river crossings, and sudden attacks, he moved before his soldiers. This set a clear example. His men knew he would never order them into danger without going himself. During the Gallic Wars, he kept his army unified despite winter cold, shortages, and constant ambushes. He ensured food reached the soldiers first and arranged fair rotations for rest. He held councils where officers could speak openly. These actions created stability, trust, and a sense of shared purpose. The army became a disciplined and loyal force under his guidance. When Caesar crossed the Rubicon, his soldiers followed willingly. Their loyalty was not blind. It was earned through years of shared victories and shared suffering. They believed he valued them as more than tools. His leadership style rested on respect, fairness, and consistency rather than fear. This chapter shows that Caesar's power came from human connection as much as battlefield skill. He united people, inspired devotion, and built an army ready to follow him anywhere. His ability to earn loyalty made his legions one of the most dedicated forces in history and shaped his lasting legacy. Chapter 6: Vision Beyond the Battlefield. Caesar is remembered for battles, but his deeper impact came from reforms. He returned to a Rome that looked strong on the surface but weak underneath. Corruption spread through government, the courts were unreliable, and the poor were losing land to the wealthy. Caesar understood that victory on the battlefield meant little if the state collapsed afterward. He focused on structure and long-term stability. His first major effort addressed debt. Many Romans were trapped in it, losing farms and families. Caesar reduced interest burdens and stabilized property markets, believing that a secure citizen base created a stronger Rome. One of his most lasting reforms was the calendar. Rome's old calendar drifted out of alignment, causing seasons and festivals to fall out of order. Politicians manipulated dates for personal gain. Caesar replaced it with the Julian calendar, a precise system that matched the solar year. This reform still influences the modern calendar. Caesar also expanded citizenship. Many living under Roman control had no political rights. He believed that giving these people a place in Rome made the empire stronger. Inclusion built loyalty, and loyalty built stability. These changes stretched Rome beyond narrow traditions and prepared it for growth. He restructured the Senate by expanding its membership. Rome had grown, yet the Senate remained small and dominated by elite families. Caesar increased its size and added representatives from new regions. Critics said he weakened tradition, but he believed government needed to reflect the size of the empire. He also invested heavily in public works. Roads, harbors, temples, and markets were built or repaired. These projects created jobs and strengthened infrastructure. Caesar understood that daily life mattered. A leader who improved roads, water systems, and marketplaces earned support from ordinary people who saw real results. Land reform became a key part of Caesar's vision. Many veterans returned from war with nothing. Caesar granted them land across the empire. This rewarded loyal soldiers and helped grow new settlements. Farming increased, local economies improved, and Roman culture spread. Caesar also fought corruption. Governors faced stricter rules, and tax collection was reorganized to prevent abuse. These changes made Rome more predictable and fair. Caesar thought beyond the city itself. He planned new colonies, shifted populations, and attempted to balance overcrowded regions. He saw Rome as a network, not a single crowded capital. Caesar's reforms show a mind that planned for the future. He understood that power means little without strong systems to support it. He wanted Rome to run smoothly long after he was gone. Even his rivals admitted his administrative skill. He built structures that others relied on for decades. His vision beyond battle reveals a leader who shaped daily life, government, and the empire's future. Caesar was not only a conqueror, he was a builder of stability and change. His reforms became part of Rome's foundation and proved that his influence stretched far beyond the battlefield. Chapter 7. Charisma and Public Appeal. Julius Caesar's rise was powered not only by strategy or military talent, but by charisma, a presence that made people trust and follow him. His public appeal was crafted carefully. Ordinary Romans believed he understood them. Soldiers believed he cared for them. Even enemies admitted he had a magnetic energy. He spoke in a clear, emotional way that captured attention. He addressed people not as a distant noble, but as someone who shared their struggles. This made him one of Rome's most effective communicators and helped form the foundation of his influence across the Republic. Caesar's charisma came from presence as much as speech. He moved with calm confidence, rarely showing fear in public. Crowds gathered as he walked through the forum. He greeted people by name, shook hands, made eye contact. These simple gestures made him approachable and human in a society where many elites acted above the citizens. He cultivated warmth without appearing weak. His clothing, posture, and symbolic choices added to the effect. He didn't dress like a king, but he looked like someone chosen for greatness, balancing humility with grandeur in a way people admired. Caesar mastered storytelling. His writings, especially his campaign accounts, shaped how people perceived him. He described himself as rational, brave, and destined for victory. Citizens read them, soldiers read them, even rivals read them. By controlling his narrative, he controlled his image. His charisma also came from expressiveness, sharp eyes, meaningful gestures, and emotional reactions that made people feel seen. Ancient sources claimed he could turn a hostile crowd into a cheering one quickly. Caesar listened deeply, responded thoughtfully, and made individuals feel valued, strengthening his connection with ordinary people and political supporters alike. His connection with soldiers was a powerful form of charisma. He marched with them, ate their food, suffered the same cold and heat. He remembered their names and rewarded bravery. This built loyalty based not only on command but emotion. When he asked them to follow, they didn't hesitate. Caesar also used generosity to strengthen his public appeal, funding games, festivals, feasts, and public works. These events made people feel cared for and tied their well-being to his leadership. In Rome, public generosity was political power, and Caesar understood how to use it effectively. Even humor added to his charm. He joked with crowds, made witty remarks, and eased tension with lightness. This made him approachable while maintaining authority. His charisma created an emotional foundation for power. People felt his victories were theirs. His rise felt like Rome's rise. Even after his assassination, crowds mourned passionately. His ability to inspire loyalty, affection, and admiration helped transform him from an ambitious noble into one of history's most influential figures. Caesar did not just command Rome. He connected with it, mind, heart, and spirit, through charisma that shaped his legacy. Chapter 8. Risk-taker and rule-breaker. Julius Caesar's life was shaped by bold decisions. He became extraordinary not by playing safe, but by doing what others feared. Rome admired courage, yet Caesar pushed it further. He took risks that could have destroyed him, but he faced them calmly. From noble youth to national leader, his rise depended on moments where he chose danger over comfort and ambition over safety. Caesar believed that great achievements required boldness. When Sulla targeted him, he refused to surrender his family ties, a decision that nearly cost him his life. Risk, for Caesar, was a tool rather than an obstacle. In his military career, Caesar made choices that shocked even his commanders. During the Gallic Wars, he crossed mountains, thought impossible to cross, marched at speeds no one expected, and faced armies far larger than his own. He did not wait for perfect conditions. He created them through decisive movement. His soldiers trusted him because he calculated risks carefully. His daring was not reckless. It came from seeing possibilities others ignored. This helped him win battles and shape his reputation. Caesar understood that hesitation could be more dangerous than action, and this belief guided many of his campaigns. His greatest risk came in 49 BC, when the Senate ordered him to surrender his command and return to Rome without his army. If he obeyed, he would face trial or death. If he refused, he would be branded a rebel. At the Rubicon River, Caesar had to choose between safety and destiny. Roman law forbade crossing the river with legions, but turning back meant losing everything. He chose action. He crossed the Rubicon, reportedly saying, "The die is cast." This decision broke the rules of the Republic and began a civil war, changing the course of Roman history. The crossing of the Rubicon was more than a military move. It revealed Caesar's view of leadership. He acted when others hesitated. He committed fully and accepted consequences. The civil war that followed was brutal, but Caesar's confidence helped carry him to victory. His risk-taking extended beyond war. He challenged social expectations, formed alliances with rivals, and reached out to groups ignored by the elite. These decisions angered senators but gained him the support of ordinary citizens. His willingness to break political traditions reshaped the Republic and created new pathways to power. Caesar's boldness, however, carried a cost. Many senators feared that someone who broke rules so easily might end the Republic itself. His daring choices created admirers and enemies. This tension contributed to the conspiracy that led to his assassination. Yet his risks were intentional and rooted in vision. He believed destiny favored the brave. His defiance under Sulla, his bold campaigns in Gaul, and his crossing of the Rubicon showed a mindset shaped by action, not fear. By pushing beyond limits, Caesar became a figure whose impact still shapes history. Chapter 9. Enemies in the Shadows. Julius Caesar's rise brought him influence, loyalty, and fame, but it also drew shadows. As his power grew, so did the fear around him. Rome was a place where ambition created suspicion. Success attracted rivals. Caesar understood this, yet the higher he climbed, the more enemies watched from hidden corners. His victories earned admiration from the people, but also tension among the elite. Many senators believed he was becoming too strong. They feared the loyalty of his soldiers and the support he received from ordinary citizens. To them, Caesar looked less like a leader and more like a threat. The Senate grew uneasy as Caesar's successes multiplied. Traditional politicians who once saw him as a promising noble now viewed him as a danger to their power. His reforms, intended to stabilize Rome, were interpreted as efforts to rebuild the government around himself. His generosity to the poor was seen as manipulation. His victories in Gaul made him a hero to the people, but a challenge to the Senate's authority. Whispered rumors claimed he aimed to become king. Romans feared kingship deeply, and even small gestures were twisted into proof of Caesar's supposed ambition. When Caesar returned after the Civil War, his mercy confused and unsettled many. He pardoned enemies, expecting unity, but his forgiveness created anxiety. Some believed mercy was a trap. Others felt they owed him too much. Instead of healing old wounds, his generosity deepened suspicion. His growing honors added more fuel. Statues showed him as a near-royal figure. Coins bore his image. Privileges and praise followed him. To the masses, these signs showed greatness. To his rivals, they suggested Caesar was crossing the line between respected leader and potential ruler, a dangerous step in Roman politics. Small decisions became symbolic. Wearing a laurel wreath suggested pride. Accepting honors suggested ambition. Declining honors suggested strategy. Everything Caesar did took on political meaning. A group of senators began to believe stopping him was necessary to save the Republic. Some acted out of jealousy, others out of fear, and some out of genuine belief that Rome was drifting toward autocracy. They planned in secret. Brutus and Cassius became central figures, gathering supporters who felt overshadowed or threatened. They saw their conspiracy not as treason, but as a duty to protect Rome. The tension grew heavier as Caesar continued his work with confidence. He believed stability and time would ease the fear around him, yet time only strengthened it. His refusal to show worry made his enemies believe he felt untouchable. Rome became divided. Rumors filled the streets. Friends suspected each other. Allies doubted each other. Caesar stood at the center of a quiet conflict he could not fully see. His achievements made him powerful, but also vulnerable. The shadows grew not from his failures, but from the fears of those who watched him succeed too greatly. Chapter 10. The Ides of March. The Ides of March is one of history's most dramatic turning points. Julius Caesar entered the Senate for a normal session, unaware of the betrayal waiting for him. The attack did not come from foreign enemies or rival generals. It came from men he knew, men he trusted, and men who believed they were saving Rome. Caesar's rise had made him unstoppable, but these same qualities also made him vulnerable. His reforms, victories, and influence stretched far beyond what the old republic could contain, and many senators feared a future shaped entirely by his decisions. As Caesar's power grew, distrust grew with it. The Senate saw his popularity with the people and loyalty from the army as signs of a dangerous shift. What citizens viewed as heroism, many senators viewed as control. His confidence once inspired admiration, but later inspired fear. The plot against him formed slowly. Suspicion became resentment. Resentment became fear. Fear became conspiracy. Cassius helped organize the plan, and Brutus gave it moral weight. Several conspirators were former enemies whom Caesar had pardoned, which made their betrayal even sharper and more personal. On the morning of the Ides of March, Caesar received warnings. A soothsayer told him to beware the day. Friends sent messages. His wife Calpurnia begged him to stay home after troubling dreams. But Caesar felt protected by destiny. He had survived danger many times before and believed he would survive again. When he entered the theater of Pompey, senators rose to greet him. They surrounded him as if to escort him. One of them pulled his toga. It was the signal. The first blade struck, and chaos followed as the conspirators attacked. Caesar tried to resist, but the attackers closed in. Some he recognized. Some he had forgiven. Some he had raised to higher status. Their knives were not only weapons, but symbols of broken loyalty. When he saw Brutus among them, his shock turned to heartbreak. Brutus was not an ordinary conspirator. He was someone Caesar trusted. Ancient writers say Caesar's final expression showed deep pain. Whether he spoke or remained silent, the moment carried the weight of betrayal. Caesar fell at the base of Pompey's statue, adding symbolic meaning to his final seconds. The conspirators believed they had saved the Republic. They expected citizens and senators to celebrate Caesar's death. Instead, Rome panicked. The public mourned. Soldiers demanded justice. The balance that Caesar had maintained collapsed instantly. His assassination did not restore the Republic. It ended its final chance for stability. Civil war followed, and Rome eventually became an empire shaped by Caesar's memory. The Ides of March reveals a paradox. Caesar's courage, charisma, and ambition lifted him above every rival, yet they also made him a target. His greatness created both his success and his downfall. Chapter 11. Legacy that refused to die. Julius Caesar died on the Senate floor, but his influence did not die with him. His death actually accelerated the changes he set in motion. The conspirators thought they were saving the Republic, but instead they destroyed the last structure holding it together. Caesar had already reshaped Rome so deeply that removing him could not restore the old system. His legacy lived in the minds of citizens and soldiers. He changed how Rome understood leadership. Instead of narrow political traditions, he showed that power could come through vision, connection with the people, and bold, confident action. Caesar's presence continued to shape Rome even after his death. People admired his clarity, energy, and confidence. They no longer wanted leaders who hid behind tradition. They wanted leaders who could guide Rome with strength and purpose. The collapse that followed his assassination proved how fragile the Republic had become. Without Caesar's direction, political chaos returned. Out of this chaos rose Octavian, later Augustus, who inherited Caesar's name and learned from his example. Augustus built the Roman Empire by using Caesar's ideas, adjusting them, and turning them into a new form of government that lasted centuries. The empire that emerged was built on Caesar's vision. Strong central authority, expanded citizenship, veteran settlements, public works, and administrative reform all echoed his ideas. Rome did not crown Caesar as emperor, but the empire that followed was shaped by him. His influence reached beyond Rome. Medieval and Renaissance rulers studied him. Military commanders analyzed his campaigns. His commentaries became essential reading. Even the titles of future rulers came from his name. Kaiser and Tsar both trace their roots to Caesar. His legacy traveled across time, shaping how nations viewed authority and leadership. Modern ideas about leadership also reflect Caesar's example. His ability to speak clearly and connect emotionally remains a model for leaders today. His blend of military skill and political insight shaped the way power is discussed. Caesar showed that leadership requires strength, communication, and the ability to inspire loyalty. But his legacy is also a warning. His rapid rise revealed the danger when institutions cannot keep up with powerful individuals. Some view him as a hero who brought order. Others view him as a threat to liberty. This debate still shapes political thought. Caesar's story endures because it reflects ambition, vision, risk, and consequence. His life pushed Rome forward. His death pushed it into a new era. His influence shaped empires and continues to shape political ideas. The legacy that refused to die is not only the Roman Empire, but a deeper idea about what one person can achieve. Caesar changed how the world thinks about power, leadership, loyalty, and destiny. His name became a standard by which leaders are judged. His life ended abruptly, but his impact became timeless, reaching far beyond his own age.